What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, you are living inside a cave, not a literal one with dripping walls and cold stone floors, but a cave built of illusions, distractions, and shadows dancing on a screen? You scroll, you consume, you repeat. And deep down, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, you wonder, is this really all there is? Or am I just watching shadows, mistaking them for truth? This is not just your struggle. It is humanity's struggle. And more than 2,000 years ago, Plato already warned us about it. Today, in the next 10 minutes, I want to take you on a journey into Plato's famous allegory of the cave. But not as a distant philosophy lesson, not as something to memorize for school, but as a mirror held up to your own life. Because whether you realize it or not, you are already inside the cave. And the hardest part isn't escaping. The hardest part is daring to open your eyes. Plato described it like this. Imagine a group of people chained from birth in a dark cave. They cannot move their heads. All they see is the wall in front of them. Behind them, unseen, is a fire. Between the fire and the prisoners, others walk by, carrying statues and objects, casting shadows on the wall. The prisoners watch these shadows day after day, and because they've never seen anything else, they believe the shadows are reality. For them, a shadow of a horse is the horse. A flickering figure is life itself. They know nothing else. And here's the first painful truth. You and I are not so different. Our shadows are TikTok clips, news headlines, advertisements, political slogans, filtered Instagram lives. Shadows shaped by corporations, governments, algorithms. And like those prisoners, we often confuse these shadows for truth. We laugh at their ignorance. Yet how many of us know the shape of reality outside the scrolling glow of a screen? Now imagine. One prisoner breaks free. He turns his head for the first time. And the light from the fire burns his eyes. It hurts. It blinds him. He resists, wants to turn back to the shadows he knows. Because that's the second truth. Illusions are comfortable. Reality is painful. Think about your own life. When you first faced the reality of death, the reality of betrayal, the reality that happiness cannot be bought, didn't it sting? Didn't you want to look away? Nietzsche once said, "Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed." And he was right. Because waking up means admitting you were asleep. It means admitting the life you built may be made of shadows. But Plato doesn't stop there. The freed prisoner is dragged out of the cave. He stumbles, resists, but step by step, his eyes adjust. He sees fire, then objects, then the entrance of the cave. Finally, he emerges into sunlight, and for the first time, he sees the world as it is. Mountains, trees, the sky, the very source of life, the sun itself. Can you imagine what that would feel like? To realize your whole life had been a shadow play, and suddenly the true, raw, magnificent reality opens before you? It would be overwhelming, but also liberating. And maybe you've had glimpses of this, moments where reality cuts through illusion. When you hold a newborn child, when someone you love dies, when you travel alone and see the world unfiltered, when silence in the night is louder than any distraction. That feeling, that rawness, is sunlight. Reality breaking through. But here's where the story twists. The enlightened prisoner, grateful and shaken, feels a duty to return to the cave, to free the others. He goes back down into the darkness, his eyes now blind again in the shadows. And when he tries to tell the others, they laugh at him. They mock him. They say he is insane. Some even want to kill him. Why? Because truth is threatening. Because illusions are safer. Because if one person sees reality, it forces everyone else to question theirs. This is where Plato's allegory cuts deep into our lives today. When you begin to break free, to question, to see clearly, people will resist you. They will ridicule you, even those closest to you. Bonhoeffer, writing against the Nazis, said that foolishness is more dangerous than malice, because the fool clings to his illusion with righteous certainty. He cannot be reasoned with. He will defend his shadows to the death. So ask yourself, are you brave enough not only to leave the cave, but to face the loneliness of being awake in a world still dreaming? And here lies the uncomfortable truth. Most people will never leave the cave, not because they can't, but because they don't want to. Escaping requires courage. It requires losing comfort, losing belonging, losing the certainty of the shadows you once trusted. Freedom always comes with a price, and many would rather live comfortably in lies than struggle painfully toward truth. Machiavelli understood this when he said, "Men in general judge more by the eyes than by the hands, for everyone can see, but few can feel." Appearance rules because it is easy. Reality demands effort. But let's bring this closer. Where is your cave? Maybe it's your phone. Maybe it's your job title, your social identity, your unexamined beliefs, the lies you tell yourself just to get through the day. Maybe you convince yourself you are happy because the truth, that you are lost, that you are lonely, that you are wasting precious years, is too heavy to face. But ignoring reality does not make it disappear. It only makes the shadows thicker. And here's the paradox. By clinging to comfort, you remain imprisoned. By facing discomfort, you become free. Now, imagine this with me. Imagine yourself standing at the mouth of the cave. The sun is blinding, your heart races. You know that if you step forward, your old life will never be the same. Will you step into the light? Or will you turn back into the safety of the shadows, where everyone else still sits chained? The choice is yours, and it is not a one-time choice. Every day, every decision, you are either moving toward the sunlight of reality or deeper into the cave of illusion. Every time you numb yourself with distraction, you tighten the chains. Every time you face the painful truth, you loosen them. So let me leave you with this. The world we live in today is not so different from Plato's cave. Our walls are made of glowing screens. Our shadows are images fed to us, designed to keep us staring, distracted, asleep. But you have the chance to turn your head, to question, to see, to wake up. It will hurt. It will cost you. But on the other side of the pain, there is freedom. And freedom is always worth it. So, are you ready to leave the cave? Because the sunlight is waiting. And once you see it, you can never unsee it.